Good afternoon and good evening, creative writing students. So, we are moving along in our creative writing endeavors in our short story writing, and we're moving into the character story, the last story that you are going to write in this class. Now, I just want to give you this little quick breakdown of the character story and what is expected in it. So, quick and easy breakdown of what the character story is going to be is it is a story that's driven by character development, written in first person point of view. You want your character to grow in this story, either positively or negatively. It's up to you which way that goes. The narrator is going to be the character that's being developed in this, so keep that in mind. As a reminder, we've read two different stories, and there are two stories for you to look at. One was The Yellow Wallpaper, which our narrator developed in that, but her development was a degrading development. She went from a very lucid character to a character whose development spiraled out of control. And you can look at her as an unreliable narrator as well. The other story was The Paper Menagerie, which our character there developed in a more positive light, learning how to accept who he was and his own background. So you can look at development in that way. Look at those two stories and think of how they work and how you may want to push your own development. There's some basics that you need to be including in your writing. The first is always going to be first person pronouns, so the use of I, me, my, we, us, and our just depends on which one, how you're writing. You also need a clear driving factor on how your character is developing. Again, is it a positive development or is it going to be a negative development? Both developments are developments, just differing ways of how they develop. And keep your character list short. So 1 to 2 people outside the narrator is best. You can have just the narrator though. That helps show your development. Also keep in mind that you need to include descriptions in this. Either direct descriptions of the character, what they look like, who they are going to be helpful, or you can use indirect descriptions, which will allow your reader to decide about the character's traits. Keep in mind also dialogue and action are ways to engage your reader in this. And dialogue is a great way to show development because it shows speech patterns as well. And you guys wrote a very dialogue-driven story already, so keep in mind how important dialogue is to your writing and to telling your story. Questions to ask yourself when you're writing this is, what type of development am I aiming for? This is very much up to you. I'm not giving you specifics for this, positive or negative, how you're going. And how will you achieve that development in your writing? What is the course of action? Generally, you can write this as a very short story, but it may require longer writing depending on what you're doing. The timeline for this is very simple. We're going to begin work on your draft in week 6, week 7. The first draft is due. Week 8, the second draft will be due. And then week 9, the reflective writing is due. I look forward to seeing the character development that you guys work with on this. I hope you have fun writing this story. Have a great time doing this, guys. Bye.